Welcome to this daily PBJ devotional. Read numbers 17 and 18, Isaiah 7, and Psalm 123 to keep going in the Old Testament reading schedule for this year. This devotional is about Psalm 123. I lift up my eyes to you, the one enthroned in heaven. As the eyes of servants look to the hand of their master, as the eyes of a maid servant look to the hand of her mistress, so our eyes are on the Lord our God until he shows us mercy. Have mercy on us, O Lord, have mercy, for we have endured much contempt. We have endured much scorn from the arrogant, much contempt from the proud. This is God's word. The songwriter of this short song felt belittled. Verses 3 and 4 say, this is from the NIV, we have endured no end of contempt. We have endured no end of ridicule from the arrogant, of contempt from the proud. The problem he experienced, as described here, was less serious than many others addressed in the Psalms. Nobody was out to kill the songwriter the way that Saul and others tried to kill David, who wrote so many of the Psalms that we're familiar with. No army was attacking this psalmist in Psalm 123. This psalm appears to have been written before the Assyrian and Babylonian captivities. So the situation that gave rise to this song is unclear, but probably not life-threatening. But it appears to have been more than just a personal issue between two Hebrew men. Whoever the proud and arrogant of verse 4 were, they were likely unbelieving Gentiles who were taunting and terrorizing many of God's people. The response of the songwriter was to look to God. I lift up my eyes to you, he wrote in verse 1. In verse 2, he compared looking to God with how slaves look to their masters. This probably refers to the provision of food and other needs that masters provided to their slaves. Slaves were in a state of complete dependence on their masters. This is how the psalmist thought of his and other Jewish people's relationship to God. Absolute dependence. The songwriter was not planning to attack his opponents with fists or swords or even words. Instead, he said he looked to the Lord for mercy. We saw that in verse 2d and verse 3a. The psalm writer's reaction to the problem behind this psalm, then, was a Godward reaction. It drove him to his knees in utter dependence on God. It caused him to plead with God for help. This psalm is a song of ascents, as you saw in the superscription. That means it was one of a collection of psalms that men would sing 3 times a year when they made their way from their homes to Jerusalem for one of the mandatory times of worship. I imagine that this psalm had a slow, somber melody. The men singing it were leaving behind their homes and possessions to venture to Jerusalem. Given the presence of hostile people around them, who would protect their home and possessions while they were gone? The answer is the Lord himself, the one they were traveling to worship. The people looked to him for help and were completely dependent on his help, since they would be unable to do anything to protect their stuff while they were gone to Jerusalem. Looking to the Lord, though, provided them with a measure of hope and comfort. Surely God would keep his promise faithfully and watch over them and their families and their possessions. As our nation becomes more secular and attacks against our faith are becoming more frequent and more direct, maybe there are people in your life, at work or in your family or neighborhood, who are taunting you because of your faith. Maybe they treat you with contempt, ridiculing you for your faith in God and your devotion to Christ. Maybe there is little you can do about it. You can't move from your house, and you can't change jobs, and you certainly can't disown your family. What you can do is look to the Lord in humble dependence. You can pray every day, and every time you feel belittled, persecuted, and threatened. Do that, and may the Lord give you strength until he shows mercy to you and deals with the threats you face in answer to your prayers. If you found this devotional helpful, please go to my website, dailypbj.com/subscribe, and sign up to receive it every day in your email. Please also consider joining my community to give monthly support on a regular basis. Go to dailypbj.com/support for more information about that. Finally, please share this with someone who might be feeling intimidated by others today, and I'll see you next time. May God bless you. I hope you have a great day today.